What is this donkey texting about on the Subaru of New England text line with regard to speculating about the injury to Patrice Bergeron? Is this not... Is speculation not what the entire city of Boston is doing?
Everybody is doing it. Every person you talk to in the city right now has a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend who told them this. It's what everybody is doing. Every bar you go into, every restaurant, everywhere.
Well, that's the team. The team ain't giving us no answers.
And I saw Bergeron at Logan earlier today.
So texter, the donkey text says, pretty weak to speculate concussion with literally no evidence of that.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty weak to text people at their job that what they're doing is weak. You absolute ass clown.
Well, we don't know what it is, but it's something that kept him from playing.
What I hear most...
I'm changing the channel.
What I hear most is back.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people talk about back, and that it is a bad back thing.
Okay.
And then I have heard the speculation about concussion because he has dealt with that throughout his entire career, almost ended his career because of that. So, and that to me, I mean, there are very few things I would suspect that would have kept him out at the end of his career of game one and would keep him out of game two tonight. I at some point, Wiggy's right. You don't have to panic. Wiggy wants to panic, but at some point, if he continues not to play, then you have to, you're going to have to accept that it's a serious thing.
Well, and he could play tonight and then, we'll move on. But I always said that I would be really concerned if he doesn't travel with the team to Florida. And I know that Wiggy said, well, yeah, he could travel and then just not play. But if it is concussion-based, he will not be making the trip. They will not fly him.
Yeah. If he don't play tonight, I'm already in the next level of, my concern level is already through the roof. If he don't play tonight, because that tells me even when he does come back, there's a bigger issue. Yeah. That he can't, it's been hard for him to deal with.
There is something to be said, though, for the other players rallying around him. If this is something that's going to keep him out for a long time, you know that he is addressing the team. We've seen the photos, we've seen the videos. We haven't heard what he said. But then all of the guys, even more so, will be playing for him. It could bring even more of a fire underneath that.
But see,
if he makes the trip to Florida, can we not ask him to bend over and pick up the popcorn?
No, don't pick up the popcorn.
And to be fair, that all of this speculation about Bergeron was given legitimacy by an employee of the opposing organization.
Correct.
So, I mean, you can yell at us, but the team doesn't tell us what the injury is. He didn't play. There's secrecy surrounding it, which invites people to speculate, which is what everybody's doing, and it's going to happen until he returns to the ice or they announce what the issue is.
And we would have had issues if Sean Thornton didn't say anything anyways, because we would have been like, what the hell, why isn't Bergeron playing? And we would have went back to, which I think it might have been one of Curtis's lead, which he was spot on. Why was he playing in Montreal? And I know, Courtney, you bring up, guys rallying around him. I understand that. But he is your guy. And if he's not on the ice, your team is not the same. And that's where my concern comes with. And that's why I think when Curtis says what he said about the Celtics being in a better position, part of that is because you lost your, second or third most important player on this team?
Well, right. And I have a feeling right now, I was the only one on Monday who said this, and I'm going to say it at 9:07 a.m. Bergeron is not playing tonight. And what's going on with him was serious enough for the former Bruins, Sean Thornton, to say, he's not playing tonight at 9 a.m. on Monday. So it's not like, he's a game-time decision. Why would Thornton say that if it's something that he thought he might be back ready to play with?
Right. Oh, I mean, and he is the most important guy when it comes to leadership. I think you can argue with where you said second or third most important guy.
Right, but see, now you going down that road,
Wiggy, boy. I love the man.
Oh.
But he's older. So who do you think?
You are such an agent.
Who is
I love how you turned
I'm just
quickly.
telling you, you got to be
turned on Brady. Now you turned on Bergeron.
You got to be real about it. Who's the number one player on that team? Who's the most important guy on that team right now?
I would probably say
David
Linus.
Pasternak.
Linus Olmark.
Linus.
Okay, so we'll go 1 and 2 with those two.
Yes, I would agree with
100%.
you.
Okay.
And then Bergie would be 3.
Disagree.
No, he's not.
Hampus Lindholm is 3.
How do we go from the best center? Oh my! All right, I'm not even going to have this conversation before.
The guy who should win the Norris Trophy is not third in your mind?
Oh,
it's unbelievable the Bergeron bashing that goes
not,
on.
It's madness.
It's
It's
I
not
get
bashing,
I
Curtis.
get your spin, and I'm having as much fun as you guys are. But you have to listen to Shime, and you have to pay attention to what's going on.
No baby on a plane guy we have to listen to now?
Now it's
just because you may think I have bad opinions on babies on planes. So
Now-
I have bad opinions on hockey.
He is a giant factor when it comes to leadership. If this is his last season, and he's told him that, he's a giant factor when it comes to who they're doing it for.
Yep.
Curtis,
But
now we went from Bergeron on the ice is probably like the 14th most important piece.
Nope, never said 14th.
I'd rather have
he's not top 3.
Greg said during the last break that he'd rather have Reggie Lemlin on the roster than Bergeron.
You guys can try all you want. This is Fran from Boston. Hello, Fran.
There's a baby on the show
man,
right now.
good morning. How are you?
What's
hey,
up?
Hill, I was at the game Monday with my daughter, and I'll tell you 2 points. Bergeron was sorely missed on a two-way hockey game. If you look at the statistics, after the second period, the Bruins were outshot 22 to 10 or 11 at that point. His presence on the ice makes a huge difference, regardless of his age. But my real point is this. They got to learn to win without him. If he has a bad back or a concussion in the playoffs, it's all about hitting. They're going to hit him every chance they get. So if he has either of those injuries, he might be out for a long time through the playoffs. So they got to move on and win without him at this point. If that's the case, unfortunate as it is.
Yeah, and
I get that point.
It could be Jim Montgomery. Like I said the other day, it could be Jim Montgomery going, you know what? We got these 2 games at home. Mm-hmm. I think we got a pretty good chance of winning these 2 games at home. Mm-hmm. We're going to save him when it comes to last change, and we're going to save him for the road. That could be what it is, and it's all precautionary. That's it. Could be what it is.
Well,
but if it's precautionary, why would Thornton know that he was out if it wasn't some serious injury?
And if it was precautionary, then that's what they would tell us. That's the same thing that they told us for Linus and Krejci, was everything was precautionary.
Right.
yeah, but precautionary means, okay, there's a precaution, and then guess what? When the game comes, you going to play. There's no way Jim Montgomery goes, I'm going to sit one of my most valuable players because I feel like we're better than Florida. That's not happening in any sport. I don't care what the sport is, where you're going to run the risk of sitting your best player.
There's no way Montgomery would be able to sit
He's
him
not
without
your best-
Patrice agreeing.
He's not your best player.
I said one of your best player, and that's where, like I said, that's where my Stanley Foyer's lead was, because Montgomery knows that every guy on that team is probably dealing with some type of injury, and they're going to have.
Yeah,
And they're going to have to play through it. Bergeron is dealing with something that he can't play through. That is a major concern when one of your top 3, top 4 most important pieces on the ice is not playing.
Right. But Greg wants him to be sent to Providence.
Yeah, but exactly. He's like, yeah, we could just bring
not
somebody
at all,
up.
Curtis. Not in the least. I
mean,
would love to see the man out there this evening. I would love it.
The guy's morphed from Saint Bergeron to Suck Bergie.
So now he's a vocal leader. As long
Right.
as he shows up before the game and gives them a speech, that's fine.
No.
Basically,
I
the
am-
Bruins scowl.
I am wildly impressed that this team can win without him. They can't win. It'd be difficult to win without him the whole way through, but I am wildly impressed that they can win without him. And so,
Well, they won because the goalie on the Panthers let in an absolute bunny.
Curtis, that is not true, and you know it. That goalie, he played very well the other
And so
night.
did your goalie.
Yes.
But one goalie
That's another
let-
reason why
but-
you won. Your goalie had 31
But
saves.
one goalie let in, like Curtis said, let in a cheap goal,
Right.
which now, instead of being 2-1 going into the third period, it was 3-1 because they get that, and I agree with Shime, that hustle goal that the Brust gets at the end of the game. That wasn't like an easy goal that the goalie let in, but instead of it being 2-1 in the third period, it's now 3-1. Different cushion, different type of hockey game versus being 2-1. The Bruins just didn't dominate that game and go out there and smoke them 5-1. The Celtics have been dominant. There's a difference. The Bruins, even though they won that game, that was a game that could have easily went the other way. Easily. The goalie makes a save. Now it's 2.
I disagree. I don't think it could have easily gone the other way. I think that team looked amazing without Bergeron when they figured it out. End of the second period, third period, that team looked fantastic without the guy.
No Bergeron tonight. The Bruins lose 3-2.
Oh my God!
How is
Bruins roll.
wrong with you?
So Jim,
How much time do you have?
So wait a second. Jim Montgomery doesn't know what he's talking about because you said that team looked great without him. And Jim Montgomery will tell you that his team didn't play that well.
No, he said it was the depth. He said that they had
No.
overwhelming depth.
No. I'm talking
leadership.
about the game against Florida.
Yes,
there are
that's what he was
players,
talking
but there were
about.
players on that team that said they didn't play that well. But you said they played well.
Who said
They did
didn't
in the
play
third
that well?
period, yeah.
They played well for a portion of that game in the third period. Sean McDonough. That's
end of the
why I
game.
said that was a game they could have easily lost.
See, here's how I look at it. I don't think they could have easily lost.
I hope
because
Bergeron's family's not listening.
Florida
to this show.
played as well as they probably possibly could, and still came away with one goal that was almost as fluky as some of the Bruins.
Wait. The Panthers played as well as they could when 5 minutes into the game, Giovanni whatever has one of the most
from after those
pathetic
power plays
interferences
into the
center
third
ice.
period. From after those power plays to the third period, they threw everything they could at the Bruins, and the Bruins weathered the storm, came out, and then absolutely suffocated them
They
in the third period.
suffocated them in the third period because they had a nice lead with that extra goal that they got because Lyon wasn't able to let in a cheap
Even when
one.
they pulled the goalie, there was never even danger on Linus Omark for them to score a second goal. Like, never even a hint of danger. The Bruins completely
But at that
owned
point,
the neutral
at that
zone
point,
third period.
At that point, Florida was in desperation mode.
And this is not a neutral zone for Bergeron talk. You guys are suffocating any positivity that Wiggy or I say about St. Bergie.
Right.
I also wouldn't call that a cheap one. It was leaky. It wasn't a bouncing puck. It was a lightning bolt.
The
from the
Marchand
stick of
goal.
Brad Marchand.
Listen, the Marchand goal.
The guy, you couldn't stop that thing with the glove. That
No. The Marchand goal is a goal that every
It was
goalie
leaky.
makes. So if
The runner in Newton was leaky.
They're called a plumber.
if Linus would have gave up a goal like that, we would have been like, man, how you give up that cheap goal?
All right.
Now,
Well,
but
anyway.
Bergeron's just another guy.
Here is Phil from my adopted home continent of Maine. Hello, Phil.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking the call.
Yes.
I understand both sides, and quite honestly, I lean more towards agreeing with Wiggy. And the reason why, guys, is you referenced the NBA playoffs, and the Celtics have been dominant, and a lot of teams are dominant. But this is the NHL playoffs, and any night you can lose. We know this. Everybody that watches NHL hockey knows that when it's the playoffs, any team can win on any night. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 or an 8.
Right. Bruce
And you've
Cassidy
gotta have
knows
a
that this
captain in
morning.
there.
Yes.
You just can't. And I know that they're trying to be easy with Bergeron, and they feel that matchup is more in their favor. But when you don't stay humble and you look past this, I mean, how many times has this happened in the NHL? Teams that are super teams that we think should be winning the Stanley Cup end up being bounced. And I don't want to see that for this team.
No.
Oh, you just brought up Vegas.
Well,
Look at them. They're the 1 seed.
listen, it will be, I will agree with you on this. I will give you this point. If he is not in that lineup tonight, then I will suspect that it is something that is of a serious nature because he's a guy who plays through everything.
Thank you.
As hockey players do.
We appreciate that.
What's that? Is it Morgan Barron, the dude on the Jets last night, Shime?
Oh,
Did you see that?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I missed this.
The
I was
face-
asleep for that game. So.
Took a skate to the face.
Oh, right. He came back, right?
He got 75 stitches
and came back.
and came back and played the rest
Holy
of that game.
smokes.
But how are his plans?
That is maddening.
Right. I mean,
And it's crazy that
Shime flexes a Wednesday if he has an appointment to get new orthopedic shoes.
I don't
And
wear
that dude-
orthopedic shoes. I have great feet.
And that dude came back after 75 stitches.
impressive.
That's hockey.